Alrighty, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 5th of November, 2025. Flyers Daily, as usual, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. I don't remember very many November 4th hockey games. Not a lot of them really stick out in particular to me. Maybe if I look back at all the games on November 4th and the history of the Flyers, maybe one or two would pop and I'd remember it. But that game last night for a November 4th hockey game, checked on of all days, voting day, checked a lot of boxes that you wouldn't expect to check all in one hockey game. From a dominant first period to a second period where you squander a 3-goal lead and go to the third down a goal to get a first NHL goal to tie it, to force it to overtime eventually, for a game where you double the amount of shots on goal than your opponent, as the Flyers got 42 shots to 20 for the Canadiens, and to get it to a shootout and to win it again in the shootout on a night when I didn't think Vladar looked incredibly sharp, but he dialed it in that shootout. What a game. I mean, you had a great scrap with Jack-Eye and Nick Delarier at center ice at the Bell Center in Montreal. Are you kidding me? Ole, ole, ole. Flyers come away with the 2 points and a 5-4 win. Are you kidding? It is bananas. That was an insane hockey game. Flyers got bludgeoned in the faceoff circle, by the way. Montreal won 65.5% of the draws in the game. Now, faceoffs aren't everything. Cates won 3, lost 11. Couturier was even sub 500. 7 wins, 8 losses. They just were not good in the faceoff circle all night. And ultimately, they found a way to win the game. Found a way to get 42 shots to Sam Montembeault. I thought he was shaky in the first period, first 10 minutes, as the Flyers take the comments of the head coach, Rick Tocchet, to heart and are getting pucks and bodies to the net, and they strike early. Montreal going into that game last night was +9 in first period goal differential. Very good. This is a small sample size. So +9 is a big number. And they came out in that first period, and the Flyers at 156, even strength, they get on the board. A high tip play. One of the things Rick Tocchet brought up in that post-game press conference on Sunday after the Calgary game was he said, I think we only have one tip-in goal. We're, 12 games in? That's alarming. And there you go. First goal of the game, the high tip variety, like just below the top of the circles. And it's executed brilliantly. Sanheim's got the puck as he's moving from left to right along the blue line. And Bobby Brink is in the middle of the ice, coming from the left side, migrating to the middle, and he just presents the stick. Now, when I say presents the stick, he just shows him the blade. So now Sanheim's got the target. The initial shot by Sanheim is going wide to the long side. Montembeault thinks that. He doesn't know Brink is there because he's coming out of a little bit of a pack. And Brink just pushes the stick into the lane, deflects it high blocker, just under the bar, and it's in the net. Montembeault, you can't react on a high tip for a goalie. Those are awful. The tips in tight are a little bit more survivable because as the goalie, you can attack the tip. And when it's right on you, there's not as many variances where it can go and what can happen. But when it's the high tip on a strong shot, that's tough. Bobby Brink's 4th goal of the season. Sanheim and York pick up the assist. Flyers go up 1-0. 7:07 of the first. This time the Flyers are on the power play, the 2-man advantage. Now, I remember last year and the year before seeing 5-on-3-man advantages and going, oh, my God, this is horrific. And just thinking, they must never practice this. When you have a bad power play, you practice power play. You very rarely get to 5-on-3 when your power play just continues to struggle. I don't know how much they've worked on 5-on-3 this year. Doesn't matter. Because the 5-on-3-man advantage at 7:07, Cam York gets the puck put on a tee for him after a brilliant pass from Trevor Zegras. Flyers working around, and York and Zegras switch. So Zegras was on the right side. York was on the left, both left-hand shots. As they switch, Zegras, because Montembeault has to respect his shot because he has scored from the middle of the ice on shots a couple of times this year. So he's got to respect the Zegras shot, and he's in pretty tight because it's a 5-on-3. So he does this kind of lean like he's going to shoot, and then this spinorama backhand pass across the top of the circles to Cam York for the one-timer. But because Montembeault had to respect the shot, he can't cheat for the cross-ice pass, and York pounds it home. He's got two, and mind you, there's a player right in front of Montembeault, not to the side, right in front of him. It's Travis Konechny. And Montembeault's got to look around Konechny. Which side does he choose? He chooses the short side because he's respecting the shot of Zegras. That's the fastest track for the puck to the back of the net on the short side. So he leans short side. And when he leans short side, he delivers the pass across the ice. And now the weight is leading outside. He's looking short side. You go all the way across the ice. He can't get the long side. York pounds it home. Flyers take the 2-0 lead. Zegras and Konechny with the assist. Cam York with the goal on the power play. And the Flyers go up 2-0. So now the Flyers are on the 5-on-4 man advantage because one guy came out of the box and they get another power play goal. At 7:50, it's Bobby Brink. And again, just kind of a meat and potatoes play as Zegras on the right side throws the puck to the target blade of the stick of Noah Cates, who's right in front, redirects it into Sam Montembeault. Rebound is there, and Brink pounds it home. Flyers are up 3-0. It's not even halfway through the first period. And they're up 3-0 with 2 power play goals in this economy. And the Flyers are rolling. Now, in the second half of that period, at the 9-minute mark to the close of the first, I thought the Canadiens netminder really settled in. He made some big saves. Flyers were still attacking. They outshot Montreal 12-2, I think, in the first period. And come out with a 3-0 lead. You knew there was going to be pushback. You knew Martin St. Louis was going to go peel the paint off the walls in the room, and he did. And they came back in the second period, and Kirby Dach gets Montreal on the board to make it 3-1. Then Nick Suzuki on the power play makes it 3-2, and you're going, uh-oh. And then at 13:28, a little play from behind the net from Lane Hudson, who kind of breaks the ankles of a Flyers winger, gets behind the net, sends a puck out front for Dach, really into the slot. And Dan Vladar is in a post lean on his right post, blocker side with the stick. And when Hudson goes to center that puck, the goalie's natural reaction is to put the paddle of the stick down, boom, and block the pass to the middle of the ice and keep the puck to the outside, which is the right side. So when he brings the blocker and the paddle down, that drops the elbow off the post, redirects the puck, unfortunately, right to Dach, who then bangs it right where the elbow was before the paddle went down to redirect the pass. Oh, I watched it like 20 times, and it goes exactly where the elbow would have been had he not gone down with the paddle. Now, you're going to go down with the paddle every time. It's the reaction you make, and it's not the wrong thing to do. It just went right to Dach, and that was part of the problem. You don't want it going to the middle, so you don't want to just not keep the paddle there, because if it gets to the middle, now you're pushing off the post anyway to the middle of the net. So Dach gets the game tied at 3. Hudson and Struble with the assist, and then on the power play, Ivan Demidov goes high glove. What a shot this was. Wow. He's in tight, too. Beats Dan Vladar on the power play, his 4th of the season, to make it 4-3. So the Flyers now down a goal going into the third on the road. You know, the Montreal fans, ole, ole, ole. Total premature, like they always do. And we go to the third period, and at 10:51, with a lot of traffic down around the Canadiens' net in the blue paint, Nikita Grabenkin migrates to the middle of the ice with the puck after he gets a little pass from Konechny. And he sees all the traffic, he reads it, and he just beats him on the blocker side, Sam Montembeault. Ties the game. How about Grabenkin's first NHL goal in Montreal at the Bell Center in a game that had it all, and gets the game tied? Konechny and Drysdale pick up the assist. That ties it at 4. Play the rest of the third period, and boom. End of regulation. Each team earns a point, and we're headed to overtime. In overtime, 2 shots aside, nobody scores. Head to the shootout, where Demidov goes first. He doesn't even really get a shot off. I don't know if the ice was tired or puck roll. I don't know. But he ends up not even really getting a shot off. Vladar gave him nothing. Then Trevor Zegras goes in for the Flyers to open up the shootout. I love starting the shootout with Trevor Zegras because he is so silky on the shootout. So he goes in like he's on a Sunday stroll initially when he picks up the puck at center ice. I was like, dude's not going to get to the net for at least another 20 seconds. And eventually, as he got into the zone before the top of the circles, he picked up a little pace. Threw that thing into a different gear, picked up some pace, went in on Montembeault. And what he did was the little shoulder thing, little jerk of the shoulders, And then what that did was just put Montembeault right on his heels. As soon as he was on his heels, he just went low along the ice through the 5-hole. Just silky. It looked like Trevor Zegras was just going in there with so much confidence. Like, there's no way you're going to stop me, dude. And the little shoulder that he chucked at him just put Montembeault right on his heels. You can't move. If you're not on the balls of your feet, you're not getting down. And it just froze him. And Zegras beats him. 5-hole. Flyers go up 1-0. Cole Caulfield then saved by Dan Vladar. Then Matvei Michkov saved by Montembeault. So it came down to the hottest player in the NHL, Nick Suzuki, and a shootout attempt. If Vladar makes a save, Flyers get 2 points and they get a win in Montreal. If he scores, shootout continues. Vladar makes a save. Flyers win 5-4. They grab a second point. What a game. The Delarier-Jack Guy fight was crazy. Like a good heavyweight battle. The game really had it all. It was joyous. Then it was maddening. Then it was tense. Then it was really tense in overtime in the shootout. And the Flyers somehow came away with a 5-4 win. Outshot the opponent 42-20. A team that only gives up 25.6 shots per game. One of the top best shot suppression teams in the league in the Canadiens. And the Flyers somehow come away with 2 points. Now, I look at 3 games. I've talked about the other 2 before. I talk about that Islander game on that Saturday where the Flyers are down 2-0, come back, get it tied, go down 3-2, get it tied, get it to a shootout, win in the shootout. 2 points. Then the Pittsburgh game where they go into the third period. In that game, up a goal, 2-1. Crosby has that quadruple net. Gets the game tied. Flyers thought they lost in overtime when Malkin jumped off the bench too early. Then the Flyers thought they won in overtime to have it overruled offside, to eventually winning it in the shootout. 2 points. And then last night, going into the third period on the road in Montreal, after squandering a 3-goal first period lead to go down 4-3, somehow come back, tie it, get it to overtime, and get it to a shootout and win it. Now, game pucks. Let's give out some game pucks for this game. First and foremost, Bobby Brink. I think Brink looks like a revelation. And he's a guy that a lot of people, kind of a forgotten guy in a lot of ways. People seem kind of ho-hum on Bobby Brink. He's come into this season now in 13 games. He's got 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. He scored some big goals. His skating from a couple of years ago looks so much better. And I remember talking to Bobby, I think it was in training camp when we had him on, and talking to him after the interview, that it's 2 years past the hip surgery now. And his skating just looks so different. It has so much more burst. So he can get that first step and get some separation. And it makes him look so much more confident off the rush. And Rick Tocchet talks about hanging on the pucks all the time. He's a guy that really hangs on the pucks to make plays. Doesn't get it like a hot potato. He has been really good this year. I mean, obviously last night, an even strength goal, a power play goal, always around the net. Bobby Brink is one of those guys that will go to the dirty areas. He's never going to beat you with just this pure shot, but he's going to muck it up in there. And he's been really good this year. And even with Tyson Forster out of the lineup and not on a line with he and Cates, he still has been good. I kind of liked the lines last night. I thought they generated a lot last night. So Bobby Brink gets our first game puck. Second game puck in this one is going to go to Cam York. I thought Cam York was excellent in the game. I'll go Cam York / Trevor Zegras for the second game puck. I thought they were both really good in the game. I thought Cam York defended well. I didn't think he heard his name at all in the Flyers defensive zone. I think he just did his job. Contributed offensively with a goal and an assist. Just looked calm out there when things kind of went sideways in that second period. I thought he played a really strong third. Zegras, obviously. I mean, what a revelation this guy is. I mean, it's crazy. I see a very willing defender. I see a guy that is all about the team game. Like the pass he makes to Cates again is a no-look pass. He is looking off the Montreal defense to his left and hitting Cates right in front of Montembeault. I mean, it looks like an absolute steal. He has been phenomenal, too. So those two get game pucks. And I got to give a game puck to Dan Vladar because I didn't think he looked sharp in the game. I didn't. He didn't see a lot of action, especially comparatively speaking. He saw 2 shots in the first. They came out. They were all over him in the second. I think the reason why I didn't think he looked sharp is because when he played the puck behind the net, it looked very indecisive to me. He was a little not quick with his decisions, got himself into trouble a few times. So I didn't think he looked incredibly sharp in the game. But you go into the shootout, and he's got a chance to rewrite the narrative in the shootout, and he does. He was a brick wall in the shootout. He just looks so confident in the shootout. So does Ersson looks that way to me in the shootout too. But Vladar, excellent in the shootout. Gave him nothing. Patient. I got to give him credit for that. Because on a night when you aren't at your best or feeling the puck a ton and maybe you just don't feel completely dialed in, and it just looked that way to me. I don't know if he felt that way, but to do what he did in the shootout, it's huge. Like the extra point is huge. Those 3 points from the Islander game, the Pittsburgh game, and the game last night, 3 points, 13 games into the season is a huge difference. It's an enormous difference in the standings. And if you can keep this up, being a good team in the shootout and relying on your goaltenders in overtime in the shootout, it's just a different place to be in. So really, really good win for the Flyers. It doesn't erase the loss against Calgary. It was a good win. It wasn't that good for me to just erase that one. So really good, fun, entertaining hockey game. All right, let's get to a couple of the YouTube comments from yesterday's episode. DMDT16 said, I think Andre's defensive, Emil Andre, who drew back in the lineup, I think Andre's defensive ability is sorely underrated. He said, I've seen him use leverage on guys twice his size to knock off the puck. And while all the while seeing Juleson get beat or run over, I think Juleson's been fine. I have no problem with Juleson. Andre, I agree. Sometimes the shorter guy, like Andre, can use that lack of length as a low center of gravity if you're one of those like Kimmo Timonen was. He wasn't a tall guy, but he was a brick you-know-what. Now, Andre's not a brick you-know-what, not yet, but he is really strong in the legs and lower body. He has taken on big guys. I think his defending ability is underrated as well. So I agree with you, DMDT. I totally agree with you. Magic Conch says, I want to see Mishkov at the point on the power play more. I know he's great behind the net, but maybe let Zegras do that while he sits up top. Just another thought. I do not want Mishkov at the point on the power play at all. So where I agree with DMDT, I totally disagree with Magic Conch. He is not a point man power play facilitator. He's not. He's a guy that migrates from the outside to the middle or around the perimeter to set guys up magically. Putting him at the point, he doesn't have the greatest. If he loses a puck, that's your last man back. That needs to be either York or Drysdale. Putting Mishkov at the point on the power play, to me, again, no offense, Magic Conch, I think that's an awful idea. And I don't think putting Zegras down below the goal line and behind the net is the right thing to do either. I think we've seen early on this season, the facilitator of your power play is Zegras on the half wall. And the ability to switch with the defender, like we saw on the York goal, the ability to stay on the same side off the half wall and get the puck to the blue paint for the tip that Cates had, and eventual rebound that Brink scores on. I think he is your facilitator. Where the difference between he and Giroux in those years, Giroux was a right shot facilitated off the half wall on the left side because the stick's in the middle of the ice and it opened up the ice. Also for the one-timer. Zegras is a left shot on the right side off the half walls where he will facilitate from. So I disagree with Magic Conch on that one. A lot of people messaging in about the lines, put Gerbenkin and Michkov with Cates. We saw some different combinations in this game last night. I was intrigued by it. Eeny, meeny, you said it should be Cates on the wing with Couturier and Brink. I don't agree. I don't think I take Cates out of the middle right now. I wouldn't do that. He said put TK, Zegras, and Mishkov together. Somebody else said that too. Let me give this guy his credit, and then I'll rip you. CadPad07 said, I think a power lineup would be Zegras, Mishkov, and Konechny. I don't like that line at all. I talked about it in the preseason. I don't. Because for the simple reason of this, all three of those players like to facilitate. There's only one puck on the ice. And I just don't think those three players would fit. Just because they're three of your most skilled players doesn't mean they can play together. I don't like that combination at all. Was Zegras in the middle of Mishkov and Konechny. I really don't. Rick Taka put Mishkov on the left side, said he plays faster there. Why? Because he can peel to the outside with a stick to the outside. You can play a little bit faster on the left side if you're left-hand shot. Let's get to one more. Let's get to this one. I'm of the thought that Tippett doesn't have the compete level we need. He's talented for sure, but you can't teach compete level. Give me a less talented Brink or Cates who give everything every game, any day. Time to trade Tippett. Now, there are some players in sport that it looks different than others. It doesn't look like they give as much effort because they're smooth. And I don't know how old a guy you are, light the lamp, but like Mike Schmidt was so smooth, it looked like he wasn't trying. And people thought he wasn't. But he was the greatest third baseman of all time. And I'm not saying Tippett's the greatest winger of all time. Just because he's more physically gifted doesn't mean he's not trying. I thought that Tippett last night, although I'd love to see him bear down and get a goal in that game, I thought that he was not being shy about doing what the coach wanted him to do, get bodies and get the puck to the net. He had 6 shots on goal. I think he had like 14 attempts. And he got 6 on goal. I think that did lead the Flyers with 6 shots on goal. Zegras had 5. Tippett had 6. So you'll take that. Once again, Sealer with 4 shots on goal leads all Flyer defensemen in shots on goal this season. That's crazy. 5-4 win for the Flyers. They'll be back at it Thursday against Nashville, 8 o'clock on the Flyers Broadcast Network. We'll preview that game tomorrow. Join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.